What if the path to a more peaceful and meaningful life wasn't about adding more, but about letting go? In a world that constantly tells us to do more, to be more, and to have more, the idea of embracing simplicity can feel like a quiet rebellion. What if simplicity wasn't only about having less, but about creating space for what really matters? Welcome to Quiet Currents. I'm your host, Kenneth Pearson, founder of Live a Haiku Life, and I'm grateful you're here with me today. In this episode, we're exploring the first principle of living a haiku life, embracing simplicity. Not just in what we own, but in how we think, how we speak, and how we move through the world. At its heart, simplicity is about clarity. It's about clearing away the noise and the clutter so we can focus on what's essential. Haiku, with its 3-line structure and limited syllable count, captures this beautifully. Every word has to earn its place, revealing the essence of a moment without anything extra. In our own lives, simplicity asks us to do the same, to let go of what isn't serving us and make room for what is. A few years ago, I stood in the doorway of my garage, staring at what had become a chaotic mess of half-finished projects, forgotten hobbies, and things I once thought I'd need but hadn't touched in years. Shelves stacked with tools I rarely used, old camping gear from trips I'd always meant to take, bins full of things that might come in handy someday. It was a collection of good intentions and unfinished plans, and yet, looking at it, all I felt was the weight of it. I had put it off for months, maybe even longer. The thought of sorting through it felt overwhelming. Where would I even begin? But one weekend, I finally decided it was time. I pulled everything out, piece by piece, and laid it in the driveway. At first, it was easy to justify keeping things. The extra set of garden tools, the stack of empty picture frames, the old fishing rod. I might use this one day. But as I kept going, I started asking a different question. Does this add value to my life today? It was uncomfortable at first, letting go of things I had held on to for years. But as the space began to clear, so did my mind. The garage, once a place of clutter and avoidance, started to feel open, breathable, and in that space, something shifted. I realized that the physical clutter wasn't the only thing weighing me down. It mirrored the mental clutter I carried, the unnecessary worries, the constant need to plan ahead, the tendency to hold on to things out of habit rather than purpose. That garage wasn't just full of old belongings. It was full of decisions I had postponed, tasks I had left unfinished, and expectations I had placed on myself without even realizing it. By the time I was done, the space was transformed, not just physically, but emotionally. It was lighter, clearer, and I was too. When we think about simplicity, it's easy to picture neat, minimalist spaces, tidy desks, or well-organized calendars. And while those things can be part of it, simplicity runs deeper. It's not just about decluttering a garage. It's about creating space in our minds, our schedules, our words. It's about letting go of what's unnecessary so we can focus on what's essential. Haiku does this naturally. With so few words to work with, haiku demands clarity. It asks us to focus only on what matters, to capture a moment in its purest form without embellishment. In life, simplicity invites us to do the same, to pause, to look at our days and our thoughts and ask, what really matters here? What can I let go of to make space for what's important? For me, simplicity often begins with a single question. What can I remove today that would make life feel a little lighter, a little clearer? Sometimes it's small, a cluttered drawer, a notification on my phone, a task I've been carrying out of habit. Other times, it's something bigger, an outdated belief, a commitment that no longer aligns. But each time I let go of something unnecessary, I find a little more space to breathe. Letting go isn't always easy. We tend to hold on to things, possessions, habits, even thoughts, because they're familiar. Sometimes we tell ourselves that if we just keep everything, we'll be prepared for whatever comes next. But often, the things we cling to end up cluttering our minds and our hearts, keeping us from fully experiencing the present moment. It's a bit like clearing a path through a dense forest. At first, it feels slow, even uncertain. But as you remove what no longer belongs, the sunlight starts to filter through. You can see where you're going. You can breathe a little easier. Simplicity doesn't mean stripping life down to nothing. It means making space for what really nourishes us. It means keeping what adds value, whether that's a favorite book, a meaningful relationship, or time for something that brings joy, and letting go of what no longer serves us. Simplicity also teaches us to appreciate what's already here. When we remove the excess, we start to notice the beauty of what remains, the warmth of sunlight on our faces, the way a loved one's voice sounds at the end of a long day, the quiet of the morning before the world wakes up. We realize that so much of what we're searching for is already right in front of us, waiting to be noticed. There's a kind of quiet power in simplicity. When we focus on what's essential, we free ourselves from the noise that pulls us in every direction. We can move through life with greater ease, greater clarity. In that space, we find room to breathe, to connect, to be present for the moments that matter. So as you move through your day, I invite you to consider, what's one small thing you can simplify today? Maybe it's letting go of a task that doesn't need to be done, or turning off your phone for an hour, or choosing to focus on just one thing instead of trying to do everything at once. Simplicity isn't about doing less. It's about making space for more of what nourishes us. It's about clearing away what's not essential so that what's left can shine. Thank you for sharing this space with me today. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. Whether it's to share your reflections or just to say hello, you can find me on LinkedIn or through the Live a Haiku Life website. Until next time, may your moments be mindful, your connections meaningful, and your life a quiet current of presence and simplicity.